We are gathered here today to mourn the loss of this pathetic blue hedgehog who thinks that he's capable of running fast in a car even though he can run fast naturally. So why does he even have the devil damn car?
Thank you, Black Cat.
So,
Yeah, thanks, Black Cat.
Very non
Thank
sequitur, but it's really fun.
I have not seen the pilot yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to it and taking the time to do so. Anyway, yes, we are all gathered here today with all our friends, enemies, and frenemies alike to celebrate the last few days of this fairly fun racer until it gets blown to smithereens thanks to the upcoming release of Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled.
Oh, yeah.
Which I was finally able to download because I was at the place I used to go to today where their internet is vastly superior to ours, and I was able to finally download the copy I pre-purchased.
That's great.
Hooray! So, yeah, why don't we talk about this game here? Team Sonic Racing, developed by good old Sumo Digital, who previously made the other two Sonic Racing in a Car games, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing and Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Unlike those games, though, we're strictly sticking to the Sonic cast, and this time the focus is more on teamwork.
Ooh, like heroes.
How do you race
Yeah.
as a team while also in a clearly free-for-all match? Are all our cars linked together?
Well, let's just say that, to this game's credit, they do something to make the teamwork actually worth a damn compared to every other game that attempted to do a team-style racing game. So, for starters, let's just say that, your team pretty much has all sorts of abilities that can actually help them, well, progress through the race itself, like being the player in the lead can literally create this golden line which the other players can use to activate certain teamwork abilities like the slingshot.
Meow.
I'm assuming to get that big startup boost, you have to hit accelerate on each timer.
And,
There we
that-
go.
and just like that, I was able to activate a slingshot with Sonic while literally riding right behind Knuckles Keister.
Yeah,
Awesome.
basically the thing with the slingshot is that, you know how in the Sonic Riders games where whenever you're going really fast you leave a trail of wind behind you? It's kind of like that, only your teammates are the only people that can take advantage of it.
Oh.
And, oh geez. So, looks like Wisps have returned as power-ups, but it looks like we're on although this place looks like Planet Wisp, kind of.
Oh yeah,
It
we're
is.
definitely on Planet Wisp. Like, I will give this game some credit. Like, I know we sort of given Sonic Team a little bit of shade for the fact they've pretty much been using Wisps in every other game since Sonic Colors, even if sometimes it doesn't make sense, though. It's weird, because the more I think about it, like, the Wisps
Soup.
were never really, like...
Yeah, Mega.
I was figured
Oh,
that after the
wow,
events of
Mega.
Sonic Colors, they just migrated to other planets because why the hell not? It's literally no different than how the Yoshis have migrated to other kingdoms in the Mario series since Yoshi's Island.
Fair point.
You're having a bit of trouble here.
They're throwing out
Yeah,
everything.
again, this is where teamwork really does shine, and especially that's another thing that happens. Like, say if you do end up getting hit by a wisp or an obstacle or anything of the sort, if a teammate manages to collide alongside with you, you get like what they give you what they call like a skim boost, where you literally just get a straight up boost of speed and keep on going as if nothing ever happened. And if
Nice.
you do
Oh,
enough
right
team,
there, I
team,
see.
team
Nice.
maneuvers, you can unleash your ultimate team action.
Yay!
What is our ultimate team action?
Basically, you go super, you go really fucking fast, and depending on the character you're playing, their theme tune will play.
Yeah, because with Sonic you heard Reach for the Stars, and it is different with every character. Like Shadow plays All Hail Shadow, Rouge plays Security Hall from Adventure 2, and I want to ask before I forget, the thing on the side where it shows like all four of the teams racing with like the different cups beside them, that plays
Right.
kind of an integral part in the whole making sure your team wins mechanic. You might want to explain that.
All right, so depending on the position of all of your partners will depend on like how well your team will do. Like, say for example, you're Sonic and you're in first place, but Knuckles and Tails are dragging way behind, like they're in 8th and 9th place respectively. Let's just say that there's a chance that some of the other teams will probably be ahead of them, and that'll make them technically be in the lead. So that's why you want to really put some focus on helping out your teammates, like giving them a bit of a slingshot or a skim boost whenever possible, or probably another important feature, trading in your items.
I was noticing that, like, you're offering them, like, so the items are shared amongst everyone.
And honestly, you'd be surprised how helpful that ability really is. Because say if you're in first place and you have like a whole bunch of rocket wisps, you don't really need those at your place, so you might want to give them to any of your other teammates that are dragging behind.
That had to hurt. That had to hurt when Cream went into the DMV to get ready to join this race, and they told her that she didn't reach the age limit.
Oh.
Ironically, for Chow, were all that was enough to
Yeah, but if you,
go be out on the
well,
road.
yeah, because if you,
They
because
must
if
have
you add
gone in-
together,
Sorry.
yeah, because if you add all their ages together, they're older enough. They're old enough. I think that's how it works.
Either that, they came into a trench coat and just said, "Hey, we're here to race."
Chow age is weird.
Yeah.
Oh snap! Seaside Hill.
I was just gonna say real quick, since she just spoke up. Pi, have you ever played any of the racing games that Sumo Digital made, like whether it be this or Sega All-Stars Racing or Racing Transformed?
I played Racing Transform for the Wii U, but I chose Mario Kart over this. So sorry,
You
Sonic.
can do it, Oma Chow.
That's completely fair. I mean, I will be one to say that I do think Sonic and All Stars Racing Transform just had gimmicks that were so amusing that I kind of do prefer a teeny bit over Mario Kart 8, but that was then. This is now with Team Sonic Racing, which, I mean, I do still strongly prefer the transform gimmick of having your vehicles change around, but I do think the team mechanics aren't bad either. Like, it feels like they did have some thought put into them.
Yeah.
Oh snap! Seaside
Because
Hill.
I saw him doing a little jig over there. I want to talk about it since I doubt we're going to be showing it off in this video. There is an adventure mode in this game, and the gimmick behind the adventure mode is that all the characters have been gathered to compete in this Grand Prix that's being held by this mysterious space tanuki called the Dom Pong.
Huh.
Funny enough, literally every character just looks at the Dom Pong and thinks, this guy might be a bastard. Do we really trust him?
Yeah.
Probably the
Yeah,
And they really go full throttle with that whole plot. And well, gonna leave a spoiler tag here. No, he is not a villain in the slightest. He actually is just as nice as he sounds.
What's kind of funny is that, like, for a while before I really started looking into more of the story, I originally thought the Dom Pom was actually just Eggman in disguise.
Honestly, if you look at him like from a distance, he looks like he could very well be a very well-dressed Eggman robot.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that something like that happened. Like, I'm pretty sure that was the plot of Free Riders.
It's so odd to hear Oma Chow's voice as a support group now.
Wait,
It's sad too because it's sad. Ow. Sad thing is, out of all the characters in this game, I do think screw off Eggman. But anyway, it's sad to think about because I actually never thought I actually get as much use out of the Chows as I did with my overall playthrough.
Now we just need a Chow Garden.
Sorry, Big. You gotta pick up the slack, buddy.
Yeah.
Yes, you did do that. Nice. Thank you, by the way. Honestly, it's great. If there's one thing I will also say about this game, I do love the interactions between all the characters.
Did he just make a freaking Jaleel White reference?
Probably unintentional, but I can see what you mean by that. Oh, actually, speaking of characters and interactions, I guess we could probably go ahead and address the elephant-sized Chow in the room.
Oh, nice.
For varying different reasons, a good chunk of the current Sonic voice actors were replaced with fill-ins in this game.
Help!
Oh.
We went too fast. Although I will say that was really cool. That sonic boom that happened back there. Sorry, back to you, Hype.
Yeah.
Basically, what I was saying is that, like, for reasons that kind of vary between people, a lot of the current Sonic actors weren't actually here reprising their roles for Team Sonic Racing. Like, Travis Willingham isn't Knuckles, that's instead Dave Mitchell. You don't have Laura Bailey back as Blaze and Oma Chow, and I'm pretty sure the reason why is because that's around the time when Travis and Laura had their baby. Quentin Flynn's no longer Silver. Instead, he's voiced by the person that Matt hates with 1,000 passions.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have Omega, who he's no longer voiced by Vic Mignogna. However, given at the time current circumstances, it's somewhat understandable as to why they had to replace him. And that's the furthest I'll go
At
into
the same
that.
time, though, I listen to Omega's acting in this game, and honestly, it's kind of hard to tell his actor changed. But regardless,
It's almost like 80% of Omega's voice acting is filters.
Well, not even just filters, but it's just more so a matter of because of how sparsely they use some of these characters nowadays, it kind of makes me wonder, it's not quite as jarring as I thought it'd be.
Nice. Well timed there. Anyway,
You go!
Anyway, back to what you were saying, James.
what you saw right there is I think I forget which wisp it is, but basically they serve a similar purpose to those that B item in All Stars Racing Transformed, where they just block the entire road and you're literally tasked with dodging them all. Otherwise, you're gonna suffer.
Yeah. I noticed we've been doing a lot of drifting and tricks and stuff. How do those mechanics work, if at all, differently from Transformed?
Honestly, Logan, they work the exact same as they did in All Stars Racing Transformed. I would say maybe they're a tad bit more precise and. God damn.
Dang it,
Big
Amy.
actually caught up big time. Meanwhile, Amy was dragging her feet on the sand.
Can I just speak up one thing?
Oh,
Yeah,
what's
what's
up?
Vic looks like he just got his mugshot just taken, and he didn't know he did anything.
To be honest, would it really be that unfitting?
No.
What?
I'm just masking my inner depression over the fact my frog passed away a few years ago.
Oh, no, no.
That is fitting with a frog's lifespan. Like, I love the post that someone
Glacier
made
Land.
about how, like, they looked up how long a frog's lifespan has been, and then the time span between Adventure 1 and Colors, where he mentioned, like, I'm trying to find Froggy, and it's like, dude, he died during the events of Colors. And he hasn't moved on.
What is dying? Like, seriously. Poor pig.
So what is Glacier Land? Because I don't recognize it.
Glacier Land is, well, it's a wintry wonderland from hell.
Yeah!
Because I don't think... Because I'm assuming this is an original stage now.
It technically is, yes. Oh yeah, another thing I should also mention about Team Sonic Racing. Some of the teams that are made in this game don't make a lick of sense.
Well,
Yeah,
two
like
of the people
Vector
in this
with
team
Silver
make
and Blaze.
sense.
Yeah.
Well, two of these people make sense, but it should have been like... Well, the issue is I can't think of who else it would be. Mephiles?
Honestly, I would say just give them the chow and let Cream be in Team Rose.
Yeah.
And then, of course, bring in Espio and Charmy so that Vector won't be all by his lonesome.
There's that...
I mean, to the game's credit, they do acknowledge that it is pretty silly that Vector isn't on a Team Chaotix of some sort, but that's mainly because in the contents of the story mode, Espio and Charmy are behind the scenes checking up on the Dodonpa.
to see if he... Which is fair. That would make sense what they would do. Which, again...
Yeah, from a
as for
story
what-
perspective, it makes sense, yes, but just...
Right, but I also would definitely agree with then, or not, I may not agree, but I concur, whatever the hell the word is, talking with Hype, that I think that's a really...
Never gonna make it!
He's got to
That you were
become a
saying?
curse.
That I think it's a really, of all things, in this world of, like, in this freaking world, oh god, in this world that is oversaturated with the I have called all of you heroes to a grand tournament, which is certainly not meant to have ulterior motives. It's actually a breath of fresh air and a twist for that to actually just be it. And on the surface value, he did just want to watch people compete, and that's all
Yeah,
he wanted.
Yeah,
Fair
like
point.
he's totally a good guy at the end of the day. Sorry for the spoilers, but honestly, the story mode for the few fun moments it is, it's just a story mode in a racing game. Take it for what you will.
No, I mean, I like that. It actually makes me want to look more into the story mode just because I know I won't have to freaking go through the whole, no, I swear, I am good, the whole time knowing he's gonna...
But he is, like, he's not
Yeah.
evil, he's just very eccentric.
Yeah.
Which I know, I
Yeah,
love
and
that.
and apparently it's confirmed that in the Sonic world, everybody is racist to Tanukis.
They're all untrust, they're crafty fellow. But
Well,
no, I mean,
after
but
Tom
just
Nook's
with all-
dead, so
Right.
why
But
would
yeah,
you
just-
trust any Tanuki?
Yeah, just with all the world...
oh.
Yeah, but just with this whole world of oxides...
Ah, it was
Sweet.
worth a shot.
with this whole world of oxides and game masters, and it's nice to just have a guy who just means what
Wait,
he
who was the second
says.
person again?
Game master.
Okay,
Master?
just wanted to make sure I
I
knew who you
said
were
game.
talking about.
I very much pronounce the M's because I didn't want to have another like, oh, it sounded like he said this.
I know what you mean.
It's a whole Captain N gets that a lot. Anyway,
Game Master.
I'm sorry, I still
That's
can't take that
right?
seriously.
I know. Well, to be fair, that entire freaking show can't be taken very seriously. I mean, anyway, I digress. What was I about to say? You all probably knows by now that a lot of the characters I'm using are their carts are very, very miscolored. They're not supposed to look like that. Well, it's because I actually changed their colors in the garage menu. Because honestly, I mean, I can understand why they did it this way, but I feel like with some characters, you don't need to make the car the exact same color as their skin.
Which is fair.
I know.
Especially in the case of Sonic, I just think a red car that matches the color of his shoes works better for him.
Yeah,
Right.
fair point.
I can see that.
But that is one thing you could definitely do in this game. Like you can customize how your car looks, and
Nice.
There's this little. The best way to put it is that it's essentially a gacha machine. You can get like after every race, you get medals that you can spend on the gacha machine, and it pretty much gives you all these modifications to every character's car. Some of which are, all of which will change a character's.
What does the rival takedown mean?
The what?
rival
Back
Rival
there,
takedown.
by
Basically,
Silvery.
if you attack another rival team with your wisp.
Okay. Also, I will
Good
say
on you,
with
Vector.
Also, I will say
Yay,
with all the
poor
voice
Silver.
with the voice. I will say with the voice acting and stuff, I also like the new characterization of Silver just being the completely polite, really literal
Well,
kind
not
of guy.
honestly, not even just polite. He is like the most innocent person in the Devil Tail
Oh,
planet.
He
God.
became a cinnamon roll.
To be fair,
How
he's
did-
always been that sort of character. Like I just think this
Well,
game is definitely
honestly-
accentuates it the most.
Yeah, I was about to say this game really stresses how innocent he is.
He's a cinnamon roll. End point.
Like I still think back to like one of the first that one line from when you're racing on the ghost in the ghost tower or whatever. Like literally, Sonic's just all, "I'm gonna beat you, Silver."
Okay. It's like, no, you're supposed to say, "I'll make you eat those words." I'll make you eat those words? No, I forget that the moment's gone.
Aww. Yeah, I think they kind of took the iteration like from the comics. He had a lot of better characterization back when Archie did it, and now IDW's doing it now, right?
Yeah,
I love
IDW is
the
doing it.
I love the concept that Omega's car is just Omega's body. I literally think it's just Omega's body outfitted with treads.
Nice.
Basically, he took Gamma's whole thing of his mode change and just took it to the nth degree.
Nice.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
Looks
this
like
is what he
Lego.
looks like when he goes into mode change.
I love it. Anyway, let's go for Team Edgelord. Go ahead, Hype.
yay!
Well, I was just making a joke about like his vehicle mode kind of looks like Legos.
It does.
Honestly, yeah, pretty much. But I guess if there's another thing I will definitely say about this game, it's like, well, I mean, everyone said it to house and home. It's like it has a great soundtrack.
Yeah, it does.
Great is like,
Jesus, it's the ghost again.
oh yeah, the Ghost from SA2. But yeah, that I will agree with James on that. Like the soundtrack is probably very much up there in like some of the best that the series had. And what's even more interesting about it is that like I'd argue maybe more so than Generations, the crew that made the soundtrack is basically just a massive who's who of Sonic composers, because you have Jun Sano and Crush 40, you have Tomio Otai, who composed a lot of the more recent games, they even brought in T. Lopes and his crew from Mania.
You mean Hyper Potions?
From what I've heard, they even got Ego Raptor to do a rap or something.
Wait,
Well, not a
did they?
rap, he just sung a song about Big.
Yeah.
That's right. I think I remember that because. So the whole thing about that, real quick, the whole thing about that. Oh, so I love this song.
And for those that want to get the soundtrack for themselves, it is currently on the iTunes store. Rest in pieces.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, so the oh gosh,
You were explaining about the Big song?
the Big the Cat thing. So the whole joke, it's kind of funny to me at this point because I realized that Ego Raptor got that thing most likely just based on an inside joke, which is that whenever Ego Raptor, as part of Game Grumps, whenever Ego Raptor feels particularly distressed and is like super like stressed out and upset, Danny would just call him Big Cat.
Oh yeah. I
Not
remember.
thinking of Big the Cat, just like that was just Danny's attempt at an affectionate name in times of strife for Aaron.
Why
And
Big
so-
Cat, though?
I don't know.
Because Big Bear doesn't sound quite as appropriate considering everything that Bear has associated with it. Anyway, so, jeez, these fireballs. So, basically, yeah, and then...
There you go.
God, he looks like he's gonna kill somebody.
He probably will
What
after
does
this
Shadow?
race.
What does Shadow never look like he's about to kill someone?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
I have
well,
different
his
views.
And I
I
do
was
like
about
all
to say
Hail
maybe
Shadow.
maybe he represses it after he eats his coffee beans.
Yeah.
Right. And watches
So-
him Kill la Kill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Boom boom guy here.
I never finished that anime.
yeah. God bless the Twitter takeovers.
Yes.
Yeah. And also I think it's cute that Tails actually Tails
Oop.
loves the heck out of My Hero Academia.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
also
Would.
also
Honestly,
good.
it seems perfectly fitting considering his character.
Also,
would.
gonna, like, this might date things, I don't care. I'm gonna call it right now, Knuckles is gonna be in their next one next year.
I wouldn't
I
mind
hope
that.
so.
Yeah.
I think you would have a lot of fun.
Oh,
not-
definitely.
Now again,
Just
this
as soon as he's done taking care of his kid.
Oh yeah.
now again this is
And his
my
kid is
own.
the Master Emerald.
Yes.
Now again, this is just my own personal opinion. I never really, ever since Sonic 06 onwards, I've never been much of a fan for Omega sounding too high pitched. I always preferred his deeper voice, a la sort of closer to where Gamma's voice was.
Right.
Well,
I always preferred the deeper voiced robots.
Same.
Well, I mean, I'd like to think that since Sonic 06, he's literally kept pretty true to that. Like, even
Yeah.
here, I do think they tried their best to make him sound like that, as opposed to sounding, well, mouthy.
Yeah, just gonna say. Currently, my favorite voice.
All he needed to do was download the Wii exe.
Holy shit!
but
No,
you were saying your favorite what now, Logan?
just saying. John St. John was still my favorite voice of him.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that of all things, it's his voices in Sonic that are his most bearable performances?
Duke Nukem was great.
When he decides to not act like a sexist piece of shit.
yeah.
Back when it was just dated in the originals. Duke Nukem Forever, not so much. The world had changed, and unfortunately, Duke didn't change to meet those times. But I mean, Big and Omega, I liked his voice for that.
Yeah. Oh, he
Thanks, Boom
also
Boom.
technically voiced Gamma in Sonic Battle.
This was not a good idea.
Oh my
This
God.
was not a good idea.
Shadow
just
is
imagine-
disappointed.
Oh, you're still in first.
Yeah. No, to be fair, Shadow's leering at me right now for not pulling that off perfectly.
I just imagine
Yeah.
the finish line. People going like, and here comes the final contestants, and
Yeah, he's like,
poof, and like your car just comes spinning, like crashing, like, and then I guess at that point just recreate the ending that Shadow had at that one Sonic racing short, where it's just
you know
oh,
what?
sit
Yeah,
down.
now that you make that joke, now that I see his face like that, now I'm just thinking that he's like going,
I'd like to have a few choice words with you.
Sit down, please. Rooftop. Oh gosh, Rooftop Run. Please tell me it has the great music.
it
It
is.
does.
Slightly
Oh my God.
We're
rushed,
not,
but
picking,
yeah.
we're not picking that one. We're picking Sky Road instead.
Aww. Metal
I'm guessing
Sonic.
you're gonna be Egghead.
Gosh dang it.
Actually, you're gonna hate me for this, but I choose this guy.
No, I hate him.
Well, you got someone's hate.
I do
just-
not like
I-
this character. I never did like Lost World. I never did like this guy. Because I don't care.
Am I the one person who honestly, hear me out? If we got the frickin' Chows, I would have much rather liked an Orbot and Cubot team.
Yeah.
Let me honestly, even the game doesn't explain why the hell Zavok is on Team Eggman. Like, dude should be dead first off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Secondly,
dead.
Yeah.
Super
Even
dead.
if he was still alive, doesn't he have a fucking vendetta against Eggman?
Yeah, I thought they
Yeah.
really didn't like
Actually,
each
it's
other.
funny is that, like, first off, just going back to Zavik real quick, and yes, Zavik, I refuse to say Zavok because that's still so devil damn stupid. They
Don't worry,
actually
they never.
acknowledge.
Actually, I was gonna say this right now. It's funny we brung that up, but technically they don't even pronounce. They never pronounce it as that. It's just I don't know why we thought that it was like that at first. It's pretty much just Zavok. That's it. Like,
I
no
really-
fancy way of pronouncing it.
More like
I
that.
seriously,
Anyway, sorry.
no.
You were saying?
I seriously
first off,
thought
just-
I heard him say. I seriously thought I heard him say, "I'm afraid of hates." This was the Heights. I feel like I heard him mispronounce. Anyway, back to you, Hyde.
But yeah, just going back to Zavik real quick before I make my second statement. The first statement is that apparently it's mentioned somewhere, I don't know if it's in-game or like a promotional thing, they say he's the former leader of the Deadly Six, so I don't know if that either means that the rest of the Six are still dead, or that they're alive but they no longer accept him as their leader.
Well, when your leader decides to side with the person who enslaved you all, I can understand some conflicts of interest happening.
And another thing that I find amusing is that, like, some of the character dialogue that they have in here, in one of the character dialogues, he outright says that he hates Chow, which instantly makes him Matthew Mattelli's spirit animal.
Jesus Christ.
Can I kill him
See, that-
after this?
I'm just also thinking like, oh, what about? I'm literally trying to think of any other villains that would have worked better for this.
Again, Orbot and Cubot.
Orbot
Yeah,
would
you know
have
what?
worked.
You know what? I just have this adorable image in my mind where it works kind of like the Chaozu, only instead it's like Orbot's driving the wheel and Cubot's at the bottom handling the pedals.
Oh, and he's like
Poor guy.
and he's working his arms as fast as he can to pedal those wheels like a bike.
Isn't there
Okay,
another
that wasn't
version
quite
of
what I had in
Eggman?
mind, but okay.
Just
That's
to-
incredible to me, either way.
Just, wait.
Oh, jeez.
I like how Metal
Oh,
Sonic
also,
doesn't
wow, this
talk. Sorry.
Oh,
So this
gosh,
is a,
Laser.
Yeah. Metal Sonic is forever the mute, and honestly, that's a rarity right there. Because I do believe power characters are the only characters that can get the laser wisp, and throughout the entire time I've been playing the game.
Oh my gosh, you're spinning too fast.
Boop.
So, I guess that actually brings that should be a good time to talk about this, because I don't think we've talked about it yet. Yeah, what are the different classes? Because I was getting a lot of Sonic Heroes vibes from this. So how
Okay,
does that all
so
work?
there's your speed types, there's your technique types as they call them, and your power types. Speed, honestly, the speed types are an oddity for me because their only major perk is that you can
Oh boy.
Yeah,
like-
you deserve it.
I think while you're drifting, you can literally negates certain projectiles that get launched at them. I just don't know what stipulation has to be activated for that to work. Technique characters, basically they can drive over any terrain, even if it's something that would slow down any other car.
Nice.
And finally, you have the power characters who could pretty much bust through any major projectiles. Or not projectiles, I mean obstacles. Like, say if there's like an orange cone that's in front of you, they can break through that.
Okay, so it's
The only
like
thing
so
they
it
can't
kind
break
of
are those rocks that are spawned by that one wisp type that
So
I
it-
forget the name of.
operates. Oh, Team Ultimate, I guess, is ready. So I guess it kind of operates similarly to. Oh, jeez. Zavok. Jeez, got that. Anyway,
Savage.
I think. Anyway, I think that so it kind of operates a little bit almost like Sonic Riders in some cases. Then with class types.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, as we're nearing the end of our little look at here, I mean, again, I've had my fun with this game, but let's face facts here. Once Crash Team Racing comes out, this game is practically going to fade into the realms of obscurity, like big time.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you
thank-
know what?
Oh jeez.
I was about to say, it doesn't help by the fact that at the time of us recording this, we just got through with E3, and the E3 trailer that they had talking about all their Grand Prix and all the stuff that they're gonna get during it, it's like, it's definitely building its longevity already, whereas this game, I don't know how much of it it's gonna have left.
I don't think they.
Uh,
I think they
because
said.
it's- go ahead, Logan.
I would say I don't think they have plans for any DLC characters first.
No, they did outright say they don't have plans for DLC, which I think was a very bad mistake, considering what all of CTR has been showing off and has shown off since.
And with all these remixes and with all like, it's an unfortunate moment of people want more of this, and
Right.
this would have been the perfect opportunity to give them more of this. Hence, all the characters we just mentioned, more stages, and even more remixes would be even incredible.
Yeah, I mean, by all accounts, Team Sonic Racing isn't a bad game in the slightest. I do think it is a very competent arcade-style racer. It picked a very bad time, like, very fucking bad.
Isn't that unfortunately the swan song of Sega's like development cycle in a nutshell?
Not
They always
always.
see-
I mean, this
the
is like
last
one of those
3
rare
years-
times where there's actually proper competition for it.
I guess I'm just saying, like over the last couple of years, it's always been like, we finally made this new game, Odyssey. We made this new game. Mania came out just before. We made this new game. We made this new movie trailer. Please like it.
No.
To be fair, they are at least taking care of the movie.
Yeah.
Honestly,
that
now that I
should say
think about
it.
it, you do have a good point, Logan. Like, for the past 2 years or so, Sonic has been releasing all this content that on the surface seems alright or bleh or whatever, and then it's always paired up with something else that's coming out around the time, like Detective Pikachu or Mario Odyssey, or in this case, Crash Team Racing.
Yeah, it's like if they.
Sega needs to do a better job of timing their releases.
It's got to a point where I think if they just took a year break, just don't even do anything, just sit at home, take a year break, and by the time they get back to their schedule, they'll have completely like broken out of the schedule that all their competitors are releasing at, and they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if nothing else, actually give a shit and actually do more with their projects. Like again, for Team Sonic Racing, they could have stead on pretty decent toes with Crash Team Racing if it just promised more stuff, like a lot more stuff.
Yeah.
Like give us Cream and Orbot and Cubot as racers, or hell, bring back Team Hooligan for all I care.
Something like that. But
Yeah, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, hope you all enjoyed our little swan song for Team Sonic Racing for the Nintendo Switch. Also available on the PS4 and Xbone. And actually, that's another thing I forgot to mention. Because of some odd memory constraints they talked about, that's why you don't see an intro cinematic in the Switch version.
Oh, yeah.
All you get is that title screen, and that's it.
which makes absolutely no sense given the size limitations of the Switch cartridges, but...
That's another can of worms, and I think at this point we don't have any more worms to chew. It's a can for
Well, chew the can too. There's nothing left with the Sonic franchise.
Anyone else hungry for clams?
I really gotta lay off that motor oil. So yeah, I'm James Bay Extreme.
I'm Lucky Jack 20.
I'm Mini Galaxia.
Ba-da-ba!
Yeah, see you all for our eventual commentary on the Crash Team Racing Adventure mode. Till next time, guys.
I don't want to get this game anyways. Bye.
Let's go get some clams.